And our gag motive series continues with part two. And I believe somebody mentioned this in the part one as a potential reason, and it is it's not just a visually powerful thing to see the damsel gagged, but there's some different storyline elements as far as like intimidation goes, which is kind of, I don't know what this video is titled as, but you have the intimidation factor. As far as sending a message and asserting someone's dominance, asserting the kidnapper's dominance, that's really something that comes into play here. And there's quite a few different scenes we can look at, even through just the ones we've done. You look at in a couple different ways too that it can be used. I don't want to give away how everything's used in all the scenes, because I told you we're going to have some competitions and interactive videos with that. But sometimes when there's a couple different scenes that we covered, which I guess I could go ahead, go back to the beginning, go back to the A.J. Cook week, our second week. That scene from that movie Teen Sorcery, where she's dreaming. I'll run the clip here. She's dreaming and she sees herself tape gagged, and that's kind of there's really no point to it, but it shocks her, to see herself in that position. And I believe there's another scene we covered that's the same way, actually, with the dream sequence. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but there was another one I was looking at. Also, you look at to send a message from the kidnapper, sending a message, you see a couple different times now. You go to the Saw episode from our horror movies week, where Cary Elwes receives the Polaroid of his wife and daughter gagged. The black cleave gags. Also, the 12 Rounds, the movie with John Cena, where his girlfriend's been duct tape gagged and he picks the Polaroid up from the house. Those, if the damsels weren't gagged in those pictures, it just wouldn't really have any effect. You just see the picture of them. It wouldn't send a message. So that's one way, where there's really no other motive. Like I mentioned, a dream sequence like that. So those are kind of some unique ways that it's used as intimidation. But it can also be used just to assert dominance. From the kidnapper to teach the damsel who's in control. There's several scenes like that, which I'm not gonna go ahead and tell you which ones, but this is definitely a major part, and it's not just for the viewer. The viewer sees these things, and their attention is obviously taken. It catches you right away when you see a gagged damsel versus not a gagged damsel. So that's and like I said, I've talked about it before many times. The movie trailers, there's so many different movie trailers and TV trailers where they make sure they show that gagged damsel like over and over and over again, and that's why, because it sticks out and it makes sure that people are going to watch it. So it's visually empowering for somebody that's reading or watching, I should say, viewers. It's visually empowering, and it leaves a lasting impression on the hero in the story, whoever is looking at the damsel. Also, like I said, it teaches a damsel that they're not in control. So yeah, there's several different scenes like that. But yeah, oh, I know what the other dream sequence was. The one Jessica Alba flipper dream sequence with her and her buddy both cleave gagged and whining into the camera. That was another one. Help! That was another one. So, yeah, that's what we got here. Really, I mean, this is probably, the intimidation thing. Uh, it doesn't tell as good of a story as some other things that I have planned here in this series and some things I'm working on in the writing, but it's something you see a lot. You'll see, like I had mentioned before in the last episode, people that are isolated, that they just can't scream, and there's really not many other reasons for them to be gagged other than the things I already talked about, but it always makes it better. So that's what we got here in part 2. So subscribe, like, and comment if you haven't already. Thanks.